What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I think it's safe to say that I could probably sum up this very quickly, this video, by just reminding people something they already know, that Jimmy Kimmel is a piece of trash. He has vile opinions. He's a small, deeply insecure man who has been given a pass by the same media that would cancel anyone else as long as he continues to espouse the corporately approved narrative. This is a man that has done entire full body blackface in his past. Some of the things he did on The Man Show in the past, all cancelable. But Jimmy Kimmel remains unscathed to ruin local dentists' lives by going on tirades about sport hunting without understanding a single thing about it, without understanding that, yes, some dude ending a lion is weird, but it's also, you know, the primary source of income for some nations. So maybe just, you know, shut your mouth. Well, he returned to his late night show last night to drop some new knowledge on people, and that is if you haven't received the poke, you should be denied health care. Him and the bad guys from WW2 probably have a lot in common. This you have Jimmy Kimmel has a blunt idea about how hospitals should handle people who have not received the poke. Tough choices? Not so much, says the late night host. Jimmy Kimmel returned from his extended summer break on Tuesday with some thoughts about how a hospital should treat unpoked COOF patients. Kimmel noted that some of the people who refused the poke were willing to take an unproven horseworm, using the, of course, horseworm medicine, but that, of course, multiple times has been debunked. Jimmy Kimmel returned to his late night show after a lengthy summer hiatus on Tuesday, where he hit the ground running by mocking the unpoked. Kimmel spent a few months on vacation while a slew of host guests such as Wanda Sykes, David Spade, Nick Kroll, Julie Bowen filled in behind the desk. In his first opening monologue since returning, Kimmel lamented the fact that he hopes to see a full audience with no masks were dashed by an increase in COOF cases. It didn't take long before the host began sounding off on those who continued to refuse the poke, placing the blame on the ongoing lockdowns squarely on their shoulders. It was not a fun Labor Day weekend, COOF-wise, Kimmel said, noting the increase in cases from this time last year. This coming from a guy that literally just took a 2-month vacation. I'm sure that, and the people that, like, cheer and, like, tune in and worship this guy like he gives a damn about you, like, you're a legitimate moron. Dr. Fauci said if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets the ICU bed. Which hospital? Which hospital, Jimmy Kimmel? I want to know which hospital is overloaded, because not a single one in my state is. I'm curious. Like, it's odd to me. Ultimately, again, this isn't a narrative about whether or not somebody's received the poke. It is just talking about, from my perspective, this warped worldview that these people have, that berating and screaming at and dehumanizing people who haven't done this is somehow some way to get them to change their mind. All it's going to do is galvanize them. You get that, right? They're not going to run out and get the poke because some loser like Jimmy Kimmel makes fun of them. That's not how actual humans work. The comedian's reference, he goes, Dr. Fauci said if hospitals get overcrowded, they're going to have to make some tough decisions. The choice isn't so tough for me. Poked people having a heart attack? Yes, come right in. We'll take care of you. Unpoked guy who took horse goo. Rest in peace, Wheezy. So if you haven't gotten the poke, you should be left to die. It's a joke, but I don't think it's far from how he really believes, what he really believes. The comedian's reference to horse goo has to do with the increased report of humans using a particular drug as a treatment. However, the FDA continues to warn people that it's not safe for humans and has not been scientifically linked to treating any types of symptoms. It's used to treat parasitic worms in animals, primarily. Kimmel also took note that Merck, the company behind Ivor, also released a statement telling people that it is not an effective treatment of the COOF, that humans run health risks if they take it outside of doctor-prescribed doses. Again, where are all the thousands of people going to the wagon wheel feed and sneed and getting their horse goo? Where are these people, media? Like, where are they, CNN? Where are they, Jimmy Kimmel? I want to know how many ones of people did this, and they're creating it like they're using this like, okay, I get it. What they want you to do is get the poke. What they don't want you to do is explore any alternative medicines, especially if there's something that could make you worse. I mean, I like to think that the media would prefer, that there are some good-hearted people in media, and the idea that like, hey, we don't want you to take something that could hurt you just because some famous person did it. I don't necessarily disagree with that, from a moral standpoint of the news. But I have a hard time believing that Jimmy Kimmel actually cares about people. I don't believe that. We've still got a lot of dimwits, pan-dimwits out there. Sorry, Kimmel said. People are taking this Ivor stuff. The Poison Control Center has seen spikes in calls from people taking livestock medicine. No, they haven't. That's a lie. That's just a fake news. It's like if you're a vegan and you're like, no, I don't want a hamburger. Give me that can of Alpo instead. Again, no, it's not. It's not even a fair comparison. If you're a vegan, that Alpo would have to be plant-based. You'd have to say like, give me the vegan dog food. Kimmel concluded his return to the monologue by thanking a slew of guest hosts who filled in for him while he was white-knuckling it behind the wheel of an RV most of the time with his wife and 2 kids. Are you saying he was traveling? That RV must have been like a super spreader event. Again, I don't have any problem with people trying to debunk medical misinformation. But when you're spreading more of it in an effort to, quote, combat it, I question your motives. You see, many of the risk factors for, I don't know what this word is, tetralogy of fallout, which Kimmel's child has, are due to maternal habits, such as alcohol consumption, poor nutrition, or being over 40, for example. I wonder if Kimmel thinks doctors should also turn down medical cases due to the behaviors of others other than just refusing a poke. I find his lack of compassion or unwillingness to admit that people may have sound medical or religious reasons for declining the jab a huge indicator of what his character consists of. That's a very valid point, as there are religions that don't, again, what percentage of people are we talking here? Maybe thousands across the United States. Not a huge number, but they exist. I find it interesting that Jimmy Kimmel would want to deny African Americans health care, because that's essentially who he's talking about here. That's the largest per capita percentage of, by race, of people who have not received the poke. Pretty shocking admission. You can see, as a former ICU nurse, Jimmy, there are many patients that come in with the diseases that are preventable. Smoking, obesity, addiction, poor lifestyle choices all contribute to a variety of serious illnesses. Another very valid point. How about the number one killer of Americans, obesity? Are you going to just turn down patients because they ate themselves to death? That's literally where this is going. If you just follow the logical conclusion of what Jimmy Kimmel is espousing here, and by the way, there'd be about 1/100th as many hospitals if they only treated non-preventable diseases. This is insane to me. Healthcare in general does not work that way and shouldn't. Doctors treat the patients in front of them in emergency settings. They do not get to make morality choices based on the patient's actions prior to coming to the ER. Now, if overcrowded, they can shunt a patient's deemed less severe in favor of those more in need. But again, neither of that has anything to do with whether or not you've received the poke. By his logic, we should deny medical care to those who drink or smoke. Years of research has proven beyond all reasonable doubt the damage both do. It's a strain on our medical system when we have to keep treating people for health-related issues caused by smoking and drinking. That's a very good point. I mean, I don't know where this like sense of moral superiority comes from. Most people that I know that have taken it don't talk about it like weirdos all the time. I had one dude ask me one time, like, hey, which brand did you get? And that was like the weirdest conversation I ever had. And I never want to have it again. What you do with your own body is your own decision. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think we should be denying people emergency health care on their poke status. I don't think that's a good road to go down there, Jimmy Kimmel. And you can see a lot of people, obviously. Kimmel returned to the airwaves last night to amplify the debunked claim that the poison control centers are reporting huge spikes in calls from people taking horse paste. Of course, that never happened. I mean, you see, on a show last night, Jimmy Kimmel said unpoked people should be denied ICU bed. But here it says healthcare is not a left or right issue, no matter who tells you this. I wonder why your opinion has changed so much, Jimmy Kimmel. Is it because you know that you have to toe the line or your entire life will be ruined by the very people that prop you up? Yeah, that's probably it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.